Advice for men who want to be more masculine. When it comes to masculinity, there are so many misconceptions and stereotypes that people have. Masculinity is not about being a misogynist or being aggressive all the time. It is about being a man. It's about embracing your vulnerability and having strong emotional intelligence. In this article, we will explore what it means to be a man and how you can be more masculine yourself. 1. Be vulnerable. 2. Be honest. 3. Be emotional. What is masculine fashion and why should I care? Masculine fashion is a term used to describe the clothing that is typically worn by men. Masculine fashion often includes things like suits, ties, and dress shirts. The masculine fashion industry is worth billions of dollars. This article will discuss the different aspects of masculine fashion and why you should care about it. Tips and tricks for choosing clothing that makes a man look more masculine. One of the most important things that a man needs to think about when dressing is how he looks. When it comes to men, the consensus is that they should dress in clothes that make them look more masculine. This means wearing clothes that are more formal and less casual. The first tip for a man who wants to look more masculine when dressing is to wear a suit jacket with dress pants or jeans. The jacket can be any color but should be made of wool or cotton and not polyester. Dress pants should also be made of wool or cotton and not power. Secondly, if you have an office job, you may want to wear a tie every day so people know you take your job seriously. Dress shirts should also be made from cotton or silk and not polyester. Thirdly, if you want to look like a man who takes his appearance seriously, then you will want to invest in nice shoes for work and for going out at night. How to dress for height without looking too narrow. It's all about finding the right balance of proportion. For example, you can wear a long blazer or a longer skirt if you feel like your legs are too short. Fashionable ways to wear open-toed shoes without getting blisters. The fashion industry is always on the lookout for new trends and styles. After a long winter, the spring season has finally arrived with its refreshing weather, blooming flowers, and open-toed shoes. Open-toed shoes are perfect for the warmer weather as they allow your feet to breathe. However, wearing them can lead to blisters due to the constant rubbing of your toes against the fabric. Here are some tips to help you wear open-toed shoes without getting blisters. 1. Choose a shoe that doesn't rub against your toes too much or have a lot of pressure on them. 2. Wear socks with open-toed shoes. 3. Apply antiperspirant or cornstarch in between your toes before putting on socks. 4. Apply foot cream every day before going out in open-toed shoes. How to be more masculine. There are many different ways to be more masculine. The kind of masculinity you want to project can depend on your gender identity, sexuality, and the context in which you are interacting with others. In order to be more masculine at all, it is important to relate the message of masculinity with the social context. You need to take into account the norms in place and what people expect from a masculine person. Sometimes it can be necessary to break some of these expectations in order for your masculinity not to seem artificial or forced. Introduction. What does it mean to be masculine? The idea of what it means to be masculine has been changing over the years. In past decades, the idea of masculinity was thought to be a man who was strong and tough. He would be able to protect his family and loved ones if need be. They were also generally seen as being capable of providing for their family financially, even if it meant working 2 jobs or more. However, in recent years, the idea of what it means to be masculine has changed. Nowadays, men are not always expected to provide for their families financially. Instead, they are encouraged to find fulfillment in other ways, such as being a good father or husband. How to be more masculine for real. It is often said that men are from Mars and women are from Venus. This is not just a saying, it is a reality. Men and women have different ways of thinking, feeling, and behaving. The most noticeable difference between the two sexes is their gender identity, which defines their perception of themselves as masculine or feminine. The term masculinity refers to male behavior, attitudes, and personality traits that society considers typical for a man. Masculinity has been traditionally defined in terms of strength, courage, independence, competitiveness, and emotional restraint, among others. The negative effects of trying too hard to be macho. The negative effects of trying too hard to be macho are that it can lead to many social problems. For example, it can lead to a higher risk of being aggressive and violent or even committing suicide. It can also lead to a higher risk of sexual harassment and violence against women. Why being manly is important in the modern world. It is important to note that being manly is not just about being tough and strong, it also means being gentle and sensitive. In the modern world, there are many societal pressures on men to be a certain way. For example, they are told that they need to be tough and strong in order to succeed in life. This can lead men to neglect their softer side and forget how much value it has. The pressure of society as well as the lack of self-awareness can lead to feelings of inadequacy or insecurity among men. However, by embracing their softer side, they can feel better about themselves and live a more fulfilled life. The amazing guide to masculine etiquette and how to bring out the man in you. Men have a lot of rules to follow when it comes to etiquette. There are a lot of things that men need to do in order to make sure they are upholding their masculine etiquette. This guide will show you the right way to be a man, and how you can bring out the man in you. This section will teach you about the different ways that men can be more courteous and respectful toward other people. It will also teach you about how men should behave at work and in public, as well as how they should dress for formal occasions. How to be a gentleman. The book, How to Be a Gentleman, written by the late David Argodina Jr., is a manual on how to be a gentleman in all aspects of life. It covers everything from table manners to dressing well and even how to be polite at home. The book also includes chapters on being an honorable guest and the art of conversation, among others. The book is divided into 10 chapters that cover topics such as table manners, dressing well, and even etiquette at home. The author also includes chapters on being an honorable guest and the art of conversation, among others. In addition to these topics, there are many other points about being a gentleman which are discussed throughout the book. The first chapter of this book centers around table manners, which include things like how one should hold their fork when eating soup or what one should do with their napkin after they have finished eating their meal. How to behave on dates. Dates are a great opportunity to get to know someone. However, they can also be a source of anxiety and stress. What should we wear? How should we act? Will they like us? These questions can make dating seem more like a job interview than an opportunity for two people to get to know each other. To make the process more enjoyable, it's important that both parties are on the same page about what they want from the date and what their expectations are. This will not only help you have a better time, but it will also ensure that you both feel comfortable enough with each other to go on another date in the future. How men should carry themselves in public. We, as men, are socialized to believe that we can do anything and be anything. We are conditioned to believe that we are entitled. In reality, we have a lot of privileges in society, and it is important to recognize this. This privilege allows us the freedom to not think about how our actions affect others and how they will be perceived by others. It is important for men to be aware of their privilege so that they can use it for good instead of taking advantage of it. Etiquette at work or within an office environment. The etiquette at work or within an office environment is a set of guidelines and rules that dictate how employees should behave in the workplace. Working in an office environment can be a very different experience depending on the company. Some companies have stricter rules than others. It is important to know what the company's culture is like before you start working there so that you are not caught off guard by any unexpected situations. It is important to be respectful of other employees, especially if you are new to the company. Make sure that you do not take up too much space, close doors without warning, or interrupt other people when they are talking on the phone or working on something important. If someone asks for your help, make sure that you do not dismiss them and offer them your assistance immediately instead of asking them if they need it first. The essentials of being well-groomed and dressing like a gentleman. Being well-groomed and dressing like a gentleman is an important part of being a man. It has been around for centuries and it will continue to be an important part of society. In this section, we will discuss the basics of being well-groomed and dressing like a gentleman. We will go over what it means to be well-groomed, how to dress like a gentleman, and the importance of being well-dressed.